Okay, so the first thing we are going to do today is to create this, to finalize this structural element. We created this truss. It can either be a truss or it can be a component model in place, doesn't matter. Then we need these huge beams here. It's not difficult because we just have to make sure that those beams are on the vertical elements of this truss. And then we need to create this beam system. This is challenging because, well, we don't have straight lines here. So as you know, we have this plan. Okay, so we have this shape and we don't have straight lines. We have angles. And well, creating a beam system here, because the beam system has to be perpendicular to this line. So it has to be in this direction. So doing this with this shape, it might be challenging. So I'll show you how to do it. And well, a way to do it, there might be different ways. But at the end, as you can see, we have a lot of elements. And we need to understand different things here. There's something that works when it comes to design. It's a design strategy. So there are different design strategies. We have contrast. If we have something that are completely different, we put them together and it works. If we have something very tall and something very low, or if we have something made of steel and something made of wood, there are two different materials. And when we work with contrast, usually is a good design strategy. Another design strategy is repetition. Okay, so if you have an element and you repeat it many times, that works. Maybe it's not necessary from the structural point of view. I'm sure that in that building, you need probably have the beams or the structural elements that we are seeing here. But by placing more, it creates like a repetition and it makes it better. Okay, so and this is what happens here. So we have all these elements. Probably we don't need that many, but by having all of them, it works. The same thing happens here. Okay, so as you can see, we have a lot of trusses. We have main trusses. If we analyze this plan, where's the plan? Here. So these are probably the only trusses that we would need. The one that are matching with the vertical structural elements. Okay, we have a column here, another column here, and that one. So if we have a truss here, another truss there, that would be enough from the structural point of view. And this is what we have. So the trusses with this cross are on this axis. But then we have many of them. How many? I don't know. How many of them do we have? A lot. Okay, so you see that here we have this element. There's another element there. And we have a lot of, this is not a truss. Those are just beams. So you can copy this element without this cross here. And by repeating this element, it makes it look better. So probably with this truss here and another there would be enough from the structural point of view. But by having more, things look better. So they are the same architects that, well, the architects of this building are the same as the architects of this one. And they are using the same materials and they are using the same concepts. Because when you're an architect, you keep on doing or designing the same building until you get what you want. Okay, so sometimes you have something and you design a building and okay, yeah, it's not bad, but this is not what I wanted. What do I want? I don't know. So next building, it will be, I will have the same idea until I find what I'm looking for. Sometimes you don't know what it is, but when you find it, you know that you have found it. And I'm sure that they were designing this, or if you study the work of these two architects, you will realize that they are going, because this is very, I think it was built in 2016 or 17, and you know that those architects have been working for 30 years. So I'm sure that you can find something that it's like this, but now this is better because they have done it before, the same idea, but now they master what they want to do, and now it's better. Anyway, let's work with the model. At this point, we should have at least the truss. all these concrete elements, the roof. And if we don't have these beams here, we will work with them today. We're going to work. I know you know that you can upload different elements. And for example, if you want to change this element here, if you want to make it, if you upload another element and you try to change it, if you are working with trusses, something wrong can happen. Well, in this case, it doesn't, well, it has been working well. But if you try to change all these elements like this, okay, now it works. But what I recommend you now, because this has to be something thick enough. So if we edit type, I have already changed that. So now it's around, it's 11/7/8, so it's around 12 by 10 inches. Okay, that's good enough. But if you have the truss, because you know that trusses sometimes give serious problems when you move them or when you try to do something with them. I'm going to do something to see what can happen. Okay, these kind of things. If we're working with trusses, we have this issue. And sometimes when you change the element, you have the same issue that everything goes crazy. So I recommend you, if you want to change the size of these elements, do not duplicate, just edit this type and change it here. If you want to make it 12 by 12, I want 12 inches or a foot. Okay, so now all the elements are 12 by 12 or a foot by a foot. Although we haven't duplicated this, now the name of this is the name of the element is laminated LVL, whatever, and this is not the right dimension. But sometimes if you're working with trusses and you try to change the element, it gives you a lot of trouble. So, well, I'm doing this. I'm just changing the size of the element here because I want to make it 12 by 12. Okay, and I want these beams to be 12 by 12 as well. So the beam system. Okay, let's work with it. First, we have to work with the vertical structure, and we know that we have vertical elements here at the intersections of this grid. I'm going to insert family imperial, and I'm going to work with structural columns, wood, and let's work with this glue laminated, either pine or western. So let's say this one. And we are going to insert, let's say this 8.5 by 11. Okay, and now I am going to go to structure, column, and we have this 8.5 by 11 column here. And then I'm going to edit type, and now I'm going to duplicate because I want this to be 12 by 12 inches. And now I have to change this 12 by 12. And now I can place it here at this intersection. Where is it? When you're working with columns, you always have to check at least the first one, the level, because it has to go to level, yeah, so the top level, let's say level 10, and we have to start on level 0. Yeah. And now we have to attach to this roof. Okay, so now when we make sure that this is in the right position, then we can start placing or copying all these. I can copy multiple here. And now I can copy. I'm going to hide this for the moment. Yep. And now I can copy all these multiple times. Okay, and if everything goes as planned, the height is attached to the roof. Okay, those are all the structural elements we need. What else do we need now? We need the beams. I'm not going to work with the beams yet. I will do that later. But okay, that's fine. I think I need to insert another family. I'm going to insert load family, and I'm going to use. I have structural columns, but I do have structural framing. Okay, so on structural framing, I will go for wood, and I will select the same glue laminated. And now I'm going to change it as well because everything is going to be 12 by 12, something easy to remember. But I have to select the 8.5 by 11. Okay, so it's the same. But if you don't insert both the structural column and the structural framing, probably you can't work with both columns and beam systems. So let's insert the same element as a structural column and as a structural frame. And now, okay, I will work with that later. Okay, so let's analyze this because now we have to create this beam system. And how can we do it? Okay, so this is not square or it's not rectangular. And we have a tilted roof here. So creating beam systems, I don't know, we can try. So let's go to structure, beam system, and then we can pick lines. So can we pick one of those lines? No, we can't because we have, those are not lines, those are faces, you see? So I can't pick a line. So that doesn't work. So before doing this, I think I need to work with lines. And doing this, means that I need to work with this plane. So I think I'm going to, okay, so let's open this elevation, the south elevation, and I'm going to create two reference planes. Are they reference planes? No, these are grid lines. I'm going to go to architecture, reference plane, and I'm going to work from this point. Well, this is not very accurate, by the way. So I'm going to name this slope 1, and another reference plane, slope 2. Okay, and now, but I don't want, do I want this? No. Sorry, I'm going to copy this. Yep, the lower side or the lower face of this roof, not the upper face. I think it will work better like this. Okay, the names are the same. This is slope 2, the short one, slope 1, the long one, and this reference plane is matching there with the lower side of the roof, because this is the roof element. Okay, now if I can draw something on that plane, now it will work. Okay, so we can go to the 3D view. And we can line. We can set the plane on slope 1. And now I can trace this line here with just a model line. Here. And I can go that way. Okay. So I have drawn a line, this one and that one. Now I do have lines. Okay, so I can work with these lines. And I need another in slope 2. Okay, so I can set the working plane on slope 2. And now I can work with a line like this. And another one like this. Is that all? No, I think I'm going to need another one. I'm going to make it transparent. Okay, because I'm looking for this midpoint. Okay, so in this midpoint, I want to draw another reference line like this. Save. And I forgot to do this one here. So on reference plane, I can set slope 1 again. And I need this middle point here, and then I'm going up. Okay, So I need these reference lines so that when I create a beam system, I can pick these reference lines, and that would be easier, I hope. Okay, and now I think I need just one more. Yep, I need a line here at the top of the... Okay, let's see if it works now. I'm going to create now structure, beam system. I'm going to pick lines, and I'm going to, yeah, so this is one of the lines. This is one of the lines that I have already created. That's another one, and that's another one. Okay, but that's my mistake. You want, yes. Yeah, because I have to set, if I'm working with this, I have to set the reference plane as slope 2. Okay, so set reference plane slope 2. And now beam system, pick lines. So this is the first, the second, the third is here, and the fourth is there. Now I have to trim because it has to be a closed loop. And we will, no. There you go. Okay, so we are doing this. And now the beam direction is important because this is not the beam direction. We need this one. So that's why I need this auxiliary line, because otherwise I cannot assign the correct beam direction. So I need this perpendicular line here. Will it work? Let's see. Okay, not bad. But I don't want this beam or these steel beams. So I have to select the beam system. Ugh. Yeah. Okay, I select the beam system, and now I don't want this W frame. I want something, there should be something 12 by 12 somewhere. It's not. Oh yeah, so there's a 12 by 12, but since I didn't change the name, I think it's this one. Yeah. Okay, so now this beam system is made of wood. Okay, now I'm going to try something different, and I think it will be easier. I can do it again, so I can create another. Okay, yeah, let's do it again. And then I'll try to show you something that can be easier. So I need to change to slope 1 now. Set slope 1. In systems, pick lines. So I remember that I had a line here. Yep. Then I remember that I had another line here and another one. Another one here. And the final has to be this one. Okay, so remember that we need a closed loop. So I need to trim 1, 2, then I need to trim this one and this. Okay, and there you go. Now I have to select the beam system. I have to change the main element, which was this one. Okay, and here we have something I don't like, because these two elements should be should be matching. Okay, so now we have to analyze the properties of this beam system. The property is at fixed space. I think that would be okay. And this one is at fixed space, which is 3. The only thing is the justification. Here it's center, and here is center as well. Okay, I'll try beginning. And for this one, I'll try beginning. And it doesn't work, so I will try end. Okay. You see what I have done, but because now all these beams are matching. I'll do it again. Okay, we have these two beam systems. They are okay, they have the right element, but here at the top, they should match, because this is, if they don't match, we can't build this roof. Okay, so the key point is that all these beams are matching on the same line. So if I want to adjust this, first I need to make sure that we are working with the fixed spacing, because there are two ways to do this. We can work with fixed distance or with fixed number. In this case, is fixed distance, because I want the distance between two beams to be the same here and there. So I need to make sure that the distance is 3 feet here, okay, and it has to be 3 feet there. That works. But even though the distance between the beams is the same, the beams are not matching. So now I have to work with the justification. So there are 3 different ways. We can justify by center, end, beginning, and direction line. I don't know what it means. But if we use center, things don't change. So I would use beginning or end. So this is the beginning. This line is the beginning, and that line will be the end one. So we need to adjust to the beginning. Okay, so we select this, and this is the beginning. In this case, beginning and center is the same. Okay, that's fine. But in this case, if we use center, it doesn't work. If we use beginning, it doesn't work either, because it considers that this is the beginning and this is the end point. And this is the other way around. This is the beginning and this is the end. Okay, so now we have to change, because that would be end. So if we justify it, if this is the line, that it's the end of this beam system, and this is the beginning of the other beam system. But the thing is that they are both matching here. Okay, so this is what I want. What is this? Okay. Can I cope this? Probably I could cope this one and that one. No, I can't. Okay, doesn't matter, because we will fix this in the call out. Okay, so don't worry if now it's not a nice detail here with this coping. because we will use the callout to fix it. Okay, do I have to do the same here? Not really. I think there's a fastest way to do that. If we select the beam system, we can copy, or we can mirror. Now we need the right mirror line. Okay, select the beam system. Let's copy. Let's make it more radical. Okay, we're copying this beam system. Now it doesn't make any sense. The only thing is that it's adjusted to the slope that we have here. But the good thing of beam systems is that now we can, if we select the system, we can edit boundary. So if we edit the boundary, lines maybe in closed loop. Okay. So I have to trim. And there you go. Easier. Okay, so once we have created one, we only have to edit the boundary, and then we have to adapt the boundary to this. And for this one, if we select the beam system, we go to top and we mirror, it should work. But I need to find a midpoint here somewhere. Okay, this is not the right mirror point, so I now edit boundary. I align. Line. And this one here. There you go. And now I can mirror this one. If you don't get the beam system, we can always select everything, filter, and then select only structural beam system. Now we can use mirror again, and there should be a midpoint somewhere here. And there you go. And now I think we can mirror this one. I select everything, filter, beam system, mirror. Okay. And now I can edit boundary. And probably one more here. Whoop. I think I selected the wrong mirror point. So I'm going to copy. Joder. Okay, select, filter, structural beams. Let's go to the top because I want to copy. Just copy this here. Okay, and now I can edit boundary. Okay. Okay, there are a lot of beams, but I think that's good. This is what they are looking for. So they are looking for a lot of beams. I don't know how many, but this looks like this. Okay, so we have a lot of them. I haven't counted. I don't mind. But if you think there are too many, maybe you can select the distance 4 feet instead of 3, but that works. Okay, so now we have all these elements. And looking at the front view, you know that we have the roof. This is the roof. This is the beam system. Now the structural elements are, I don't know if we, yeah, so the structural element, this big structural element is just below the beam system. So now we can create those beams using architecture component. Model in place, it has to be something like structural framing as well. And now I can trace this. I can go to extrusion and set. It's not in slope 1 now, it's in grid say grid A. And now we have to trace this. To mirror. This one, now going down, trim. Well, there's a problem here because everything is not matching well. Well, and this is the first one. So the first one has to start there and there. This is the first structural element, and then we need more. Here and there. So we can go to architecture, component, model in place, structural framing, extrusion, I have to set grid A on grid A. And now we can trace. I'm not concerned about dimensions. The only thing is that if this is 12, this has to be thicker than 12. Okay, so everything that between 15 and 20 should work. And there you go. Now we can see the 3D view, where it is. Bueno, we drag it here and there. Okay, now finish model. And I think now we can copy the rest. What was going here? I think I extended the wrong. Yeah, I extended it in the wrong direction at the beginning. So, sorry. Here and there. Better at the end of the element. Yeah. And now it should be good. Okay, now it's good. And now we can copy this element here and probably there. And now, okay, this is it. Okay. And we might need one more or two more. Let me see how many. So we have done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh yeah, because here we don't have columns here. Yeah, so there are too many columns. Okay, we can delete all these columns. And now we need to copy this one here. It's not perfect. Okay. And finally, this one. Why can't I snap where I want? Okay, now I select this one, go to the top. This. Okay. So with this, we're done with all the structural elements, and things are where they should be. Okay, so first we have the truss. Then we have these horizontal elements matching the vertical web of the truss. Then over these beams, we have the beam system. And just over this beam system, we have the roof itself. Okay, so now everything works well. And this is something that we need to learn when we're working with this kind of wood structures. So there's a truss, then the beams, the main beams on the vertical web of the truss. Then we have the beam system, and finally we have the roof. Okay, beams, beam systems, roof. So there are like three layers here, 1, 2, 3. And if we look at our Revit file, it's, well, this is 1, 2, and 3, the roof. Could this be, yeah, I think that works better. Okay, so this is the main beam, the beam system resting on the beam, and then the roof resting on the beam system. Okay, so we have more, yeah, so if you look at the pictures, we have these elements here. Okay, so we have this overhang, this is too much, and we need a diagonal element from this vertical element to this horizontal one. So we can do this, but we need another elevation now. Yep, we need this one. It's a little confusing. Yep, basically we need to trace this from this vertical element to this horizontal one. And then we need to find out what this grid line is. So this grid line is number 5. Okay, so that happens in grid number 5, number 6, and number 7. So let's do it. Let's go to the west elevation. No, the east. Mhm. Let me check again because grid number 5 is this one. Okay, so from the east elevation, we need to set, or from the, yeah, from that one, I think it's better. We need to set the work plane on grid number 5. And now we need to go to architecture, model in place, structural framing, extrusion, set the working plane on grid number 5. Okay, that's fine. And this is grid number 5, and now we have to go up to this beam here. Okay, I don't know exactly the distance or the angle, but that's fine. So let's make it 3 feet, it's too much. Let's make it 2. There you go. Okay, finish. There you go. Okay, so we have this first diagonal. The second diagonal is different. We can start at the same point in this column, but the angle is going to be different. So I think we can copy this one, copy this one, move constraint here, and as you can see, this is not the right shape, but it's fine because we can always edit the extrusion, and we can make it get to this point. Extend line, and there you go. Nope, this is not what I wanted, but I can always move it. From this point. I want to move it in this direction. I can't. Can I do it from the south elevation? move it. Move constraint. No. I'll do it again. Edit in place. Oh, I know what happens. Yep. Yes, I have copied this, but copying things don't work with yeah, with this component model in place, because you are copying, but when you edit the extrusion, you are editing the same element here. Now I see. Okay, so let's try to deceive Revit again. Okay, so first I want to do this. I want to delete one and delete one. Now I want to create a parallel so I can copy this one here. And now I need a horizontal one. And I can trim this and this. If I finish, now I will find that this is on the right, on the same position. How can I fix it? So I can drag this and this. There you go. And finish model. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why Revit is doing this, but when you are copying, I think it's not an independent. So this is the main object, and you have copied this. And every time you edit the extrusion, you are editing the extrusion at this place. Okay, so then you have to do the moving doesn't work. You have to use the handles, and then no, this one. Okay, so you can't move this in any direction. So you have to use the handles, and then you can just place this element in another. Okay. So as you can see, we have one, two, there's another one there, so you can make it. And the final one is this. Okay, so here we have the longest overhang, and we have this element going out, and then we need this element here. So that would be on grid. Yeah, it will be this one on grid 1. So we can do it here. Yep, we have this long beam on grid 1, and then we need an element from this point to that point. So let's do it. Let's go to architecture, component, model in place. Let's select structural framing again. Okay, and now set this on grid 1. Where's grid 1? Select extrusion, and now we can trace this element here. Copy. There you go. Finish model. And now we only have to place it in the right position. This is it, here and there. Nice. Good news is that when you're done with this side, you can just mirror and copy the other side. Okay, so what have we done so far? We have created all these beam elements. We have created the main horizontal beams and make sure that they are placed at the top of these columns and at the top of the vertical web of the truss that we have done. And then we need this. As you can see, everything is about triangles. When it comes to structural elements, the triangular shape is something that works well, okay? Because we have something horizontal, then we have something vertical, but this triangular element connects both and makes everything easier, okay? So working, if you look at trusses are made of triangles. If you are working with these elements, we always need to find this triangular shape so that we can connect the vertical and the horizontal element with a diagonal element. And this is always good for the structural point of view, especially when we're working with this kind of frame structures. It can be either steel or wood, but we always need to find the triangle. And when we find the triangle, then we can make sure that the load will be led to the foundations. Even in this element, they try to teach us that a triangular shape works even for foundation. So that's why we have this triangular shape here, okay? Because probably we don't need this to go up to this point. The triangle is enough. Okay, so we are getting there. And finally, there is something that I can explain, but this is up to you. You need to study the plan, and then you need to know where we have walls. Okay, so you know that we have walls here, we have walls there, we have walls around this. We're going to work now with this. This is not a wall. This is like a terrace, a belvedere, something to have an outdoor area for having lunch. Uh, and yeah, so it's this side of the building. So you see that it's not an opaque wall. So this is an outdoor area and people can be here. I don't think we have the right, but other than that, we have walls and we have walls and we have windows. Okay, so you have to work with walls and then you have to place windows. And those windows are, you see that they are huge windows without any frame. So it's just a single window. It's not an openable window at all. Mm, what kind of walls do we need here? So if we are looking for, because we are aiming, our goal is always to create like a zero energy building, passive house standards and all that stuff. And this wall, it's a sandwich panel. We have wood, we have a core of rigid insulation or any kind of insulation, and then we have another wood outside. And so we are just working with, can work with a wall. So we can define a wall. Yeah, let's start with the generic type. And now let's work with a core of rigid insulation. 8 inches, I think it will work. And then we need to insert Uh, I don't think they are using plywood here. So what kind of wood do they have? Okay, so it can be softwood. It's good. And the thickness, 1/2 inch. And we insert another one, go down, and this is softwood as well. Softwood and 1/2. This is not a structure, this is finish, another finish, and this is thermal layer. Okay, so those will be, oh, I didn't duplicate. Whoa, A type. Okay, soft. The thermal resistance is good enough. So let's duplicate, and this is my wall 2. I don't know how many walls I have created. Okay, make sure that your R value is above 50 because this is a wall. And now we are going to wrap the structure. Well, there are different ways to do this. We can do this. We don't see the elements. Why? Because it's a structural discipline. So we have to move to architectural discipline. Okay, so we can do this. But with this one, we will have a thermal breach because here we don't have any thermal insulation. So we can either go inside or outside. I would go inside. So if we try to align here, yes, this is what I would do. Okay, we can wrap the structure, or we could do something different. Well, no, let's do this. And now wall. So you can do it anywhere. You can align. And this is it. Okay, so you have to wrap all the building. You know that we have walls here because we create like a booth. I don't have enough pictures, so I think I have to open this website. Okay, so here on that wood, you only have to create these windows on that wall. And there are some pictures from inside. Yeah, so here you see that we have the column, and then you have to insert a window. To insert a window in Revit, you need a wall. So you cannot place a window without a wall. So that's why it's good that we wrap this with that wall. And then we only have to place a window here. What is the dimension of that window? We have to annotate. Okay, so in this case, the distance between two columns, the inside face of two columns is 7 foot. 7 feet 3 inches. So now we have to work with architecture, window, this fixed window, and now we have to edit type. Don't forget to edit type. And I think those will be square windows. The height is 7 feet and 3 inches. And the width is 7 feet and 3 inches. What about the sill? 3 inches, 3 feet. Well, let's see. Okay, so this is what we have to do now. Be on the 3D view. Well, for sure, we have to adjust the walls to the roof. And this is it. Okay, so we need square windows, and the windows are just between two columns, as we can see in that picture. Okay, so we have the column, but as I told you, we need a wall, so we cannot place a window without a wall. So that's why you have to wrap all this building with these walls, and then you can place the window. And every time you create a window, I think you can use this one for all kinds. Yeah, this is the booth I was telling you. Okay, so on the back of this restaurant, level 0 here. So we have to continue with that wall, architecture, wall, here, line, and trim. Vaya. It's not well aligned. There you go. And now on this, on this wall, you can place exactly the same window, architecture window here. And don't forget to align here. And now between this column and this column, there's another wall here, so that you create this booth. Okay, so you have a table. It's quite simple, and it's really nice. So you have a bench, another bench, and here the table with a nice view to the Alps. Okay, so those are these windows here. Probably those windows are smaller than the other ones. I don't know, it's up to you. But at least okay, so I don't know if these windows are smaller than the others. I don't think so. You can use the same window, and that's nice because you have the same window, the same height, and you are like looking through the building. Yeah, I like it. So what's next? Just to finalize today's lesson, I want to create this wall here. Okay, so you see that this is a wall. It's not a bearing wall for sure. It's hanging from the roof, so it's not even getting to the floor. And we have this nice area here to have well, whatever. That is this area, and we have this nice effect because this is the south elevation, and this light will be coming from this place. And okay, yeah, so we have this wall like this. It's not opaque. Okay, you see that there's a slight well, there are different tables, and yeah, so we have this nice effect, this wall here, and it's behind the structural truss. Okay, so we have the structural truss, and then behind it we have that wall. So I'm going to do it very quickly. There might be different ways to do that, but just to try something new, I'm going to use a mass. Okay, the massing inside. Okay, and just to work with massing inside, I'm going to go to level 0. I'm going to show the picture again. Okay, so it's this place here. So there's a wall here, and I think if we go to wireframe, yeah, so we have this wall, and then we have that space here, and these louvers or whatever are, this is the structural truss, so they are just here on this plane. So I think to do this, I'm going to use massing inside, and I'm going to use another reference plane because, yeah, I want to make sure that I'm not working on grid P, I'm working on this reference plane now, and I'm going to work this reference plane, louvers. And I want to work from the west, no, the south elevation. Yep. I think the wall is here. The wall is on grid 4, so on level, oh no, the wall is on grid 3. Yeah, so this is the wall. So my louvers start here on grid 3. So this is grid 3, this one. Ahí va. Grid 3. So I'm going to create a shape like this. So let's go to massing inside, in place mass. I am going to set this on the louvers reference plane. And I just want to trace this shape here. The shape that starts, let's say, this point. Oh, okay. So let's go parallel here, then up to grid 3, this point. Now we go down, and it doesn't get up to the floor, so it stays like here. Now we go up, we make sure that we trim and we create a closed loop. Okay, I'm just I'm going to do this. I'm going to trim. make sure that this is trimmed as well. And before finishing mass, I want to see on 3D what I'm doing. Okay, so now I select modify. And yeah, sometimes it happens. So we have to be careful with this. Okay, because as you can see, lines are not, yeah, lines are not straight. So what can we do? We can select all these. We can set this on louvers. I don't know, something has changed. And now I have to connect these 2 points. No, this is not working. Cancel. Okay. I think now the drawing is getting too complicated. So I'm going to hide all this category of structural elements. And I want just to keep the roof and the grid lines. Yeah. So I'm even going to hide this. Okay. And now I think I can trace massing inside, in place mass. Okay. Set on louvers. And now I can start tracing it. Okay, now it works. So before finishing mass, I want to select everything and I want to create form, a solid form. And I want to move it this way. So the thickness doesn't matter. And before finishing, I want to create first I have to set this on a horizontal level. So let's say level 0. And I'm going to create a void now. So this is a void form. And now I want to copy create a void form. Oh. Something's wrong today with levels. Because why am I doing this? Okay, let's select, create a solid form. top, create a solid form, move it backwards. Now I want to set on level, let's say level -15, and I want to do this. Yep. Now I select it, I create a void, I move it up, and now from top view, I can copy Okay, so now we can copy all these void forms. Many times. And there you go. And now we finish the mess. Okay, so you have to copy, we're running out of time, so that's why I'm speeding up things, but you have to copy the void form so that you create uh, more elements. And we're not done yet because this is a mass. Okay, so this is still a mass, and we are not working with masses because we need to create walls. So when we go to maximum site, we create a wall. I want to create a wall. So let's edit, duplicate, and make a 1-inch wall. And I want to make that structure an inch. And I want to make it of wood, the softwood. Okay. And now you have to select this face. And we have created that. And now we can delete the mass. Okay, so we have created that wall here with louvers. So this is the basic wall, 1 inch, and it's made of wood. Yeah. And what's the point of this? The point of this is having these louvers so that when we place the sun path, we adjust the sun settings on March the 11th. Okay, that's fine with me. Still, but at noon or 11. And when we cast shadows, Yeah, we have this nice effect here. There you go. Okay, so I'm not very proud of this wall, but you can create different elements and you can copy these elements, but I think, but then you have to adjust all these elements to the slope by creating this mass and then the solid form and finally the void form. It should be faster, but well, all these elements should have the same width and the distance between them should be the same. Okay, so we have to make it a little better, but that's the idea, that we have on the south elevation, we can have this nice effect when we are moving through the building. Ugh, going to place a camera. Yeah, that's the idea, that we have this element here and it should look like this one. Okay, so as you see, the distance between different louvers is always the same. So this is what we have to do, something like that. Okay, so these tables and the distance is always the same. And we have the same thing here. Okay, so this is what we have to do.